just got a great shoot plan for you today. My wife, the Colt collector, just recently acquired this Deluxe pistol grip half octagon Colt Lightning rifle. Now for those of you who follow Colt Lightnings, you know just what a rare piece this one is. And this one's in fairly rough cosmetic condition, so it's one we don't mind just taking out here and doing some shooting with. So today's the first day we'll be shooting it, and rumor has it that the wife will be along shortly to put a few rounds through it herself. So it might be your lucky day. You might get to see somebody a whole lot better looking than me shooting for a change. So stick around, it's going to be great fun. Okay, so this is this Deluxe medium frame Colt Lightning rifle that we're going to be shooting today. This one, of course, you can see is in pretty well used shape, but it's still mechanically in great shape. So it should be a good shooter. We're going to find out here shortly. This one has some pretty rare features. As you can see in the buttstock, we've got a pistol grip buttstock with checkering, some kind of fancy wood. I don't know if you can see that real well, but it has some real wave in the grain there. Unfortunately, the stock's pretty beat up and been repaired. This one also has one of the rarest features in a Colt Lightning, in that it's a half round and half octagon barrel. There were very few of those made. It also has a half magazine, which is very unusual in a Colt Lightning, and we can tell that it hasn't been shortened because there's no dovetail to attach down here at the end of the barrel like there would be if it had originally a longer magazine tube. The other way you can tell is that they had a round magazine cap, whereas if they were full length and been shortened, they typically would put the flat cap that's on full length magazines back on. So this is a really unusual rifle. Now these medium frame Lightnings came out in 1885, and this is an early model that's came out in 1886. It was manufactured in 1886. They came out in the same calibers as the 1873s and the 1892s, the 3220, 3840 and 4440. Now this one's a 4440, and that's one of our favorite calibers here to shoot here on the Cinnabar. They came out with, the next year after this one was made, in 1887, with a small frame version that's 22 rimfire, and a large frame version that had several really large calibers, and the large frames really never caught on. But this one is a pretty interesting old gun, even though she's been used and abused a little bit. Probably put some food on the table back in the day, and probably had some great stories to tell if we could get her to talk. So we're going to get set up here shortly, and the wife's going to be along here in just a jiffy, and we'll see if we can't put a few rounds through this old girl and see how she performs. Okay, so today we're joined by my lovely wife. Since it's the first time we're shooting her rifle, she wanted to take a few shots through it too, so here we go. Good shot. So how's that for shooting, folks? We got a sharpshooter in the family. Okay, so here's this well-used Deluxe medium frame that we're shooting today, and I brought a couple of more just to show you, to demonstrate some differences in these medium frame Lightning rifles. Now this next one is a saddle ring carbine 32 caliber, and most people would call both of these a first model. You'll notice that there's an open top here and an open top on this one. There's another little difference between them though, in that this saddle ring carbine has a slide lock. You'll notice this little slide here. With it in the back position, that locks the slide. If it's pushed forward, then you can rack the slide. Okay, so it's not really a safety because you can fire it with the slide lock back like that, but it just locks the slide. This one doesn't have that. Um, it has a slot for it to go in, but there isn't one there. And a lot of medium frames, early ones, don't have those slide locks in them. Now, whether they were removed or whether they came from Colt that way is kind of up to conjecture. My good friend and mentor on these Colt Lightning rifles, Eldon Penner, and Eldon's you know, one of the world's leading authorities on Colt Lightning rifles. He believes that Colt did send out a lot of them without that slide lock, and he calls those the second model. He refers to 3 variations and 3 models of the medium frames. Most people will just say that if they're an open top, they're a first model. So this one, even with the hammer back, you know, it's still going to rack. And some people will tell you that it's not safe to shoot them that way, but that's just not true. There's a real positive locking lug system in there that will keep that breech from opening up when on recoil. And we just saw my wife shoot it, and it didn't open up like that. Now this last one up here, this one's kind of an interesting gun. It's a 3840. And another half octagon. I said they were really rare, but here we've got 2 of them here. But you can go a lifetime and not see a half octagon Colt Lightning, but we just kind of got lucky finding these. This one's kind of interesting in that you can see this ring here on the slide for a little extra traction. It's also a smooth bore, so most likely somebody set this up for trick shooting, whether it was a well-known trick shooter or not, we don't know, but it'd be interesting to know. But see, this one has a dust cover, so this is, you know, is the latest model, whether you call it a second model or a third model, and it has an internal slide lock. So when the hammer's back, that slide is locked. When you let the hammer down, then you can rack the action. So that's the differences in these medium frame Colt Lightning rifles. Okay, let's get down to shooting. Of course, we got to open the breech to load this Lightning up. I gotta admit, it adds a little pressure having the wife come up and shoot as well as she did. Let's see if we can't shoot at least as well as the little lady. If not, it's going to be kind of hard to face some of my friends and some of hers. Okay, there's 6. There's 6. Okay, we're ready to go. Hey! We wounded one of the jugs. We better finish it off. Oh, that did it. Oh, there's another. All right. That was fun. Let's load up another round. Now you might notice we're shooting onto water today, and normally we wouldn't do that. But we're in an enclosed property here. There's a great backstop on the backside, and we run all the cows off before we started shooting today. So it's a real safe environment to shoot, and even if we get one skipping across the water, it's just going to go into that bank on the other side and not cause an issue. Now it looks like I'm getting kind of low on targets out there, so I kind of got all my jugs beat up, so we're going to be shooting steel on this round. Okay, you can kind of see why they're called Lightnings now. Boy, we can get that action cocked and back on target so quickly. This is really, really a fun rifle to shoot. Okay, now that the wife's been here and showed me how to shoot, I think this gun's going to get shot a whole lot more. This is a really nice shooting little gun, and really enjoyable. Not a whole lot of kick, and seems to be on target pretty well. Why don't we take a few more shots through it? Let's see where we're at here. Oh, better open the breech. These Colt Lightnings never did reach the popularity of the lever actions, but Colt made about 90,000 of these medium frame Colt Lightnings. They definitely had a following back in the day. Okay, about one more. There we go. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Uh-oh, we've still got a couple of jugs up there. What are we going to do about that? Well, that's one of the beauties of 4440. We've got just one box of ammo here, but with a Colt Lightning and a Colt Single Action Army, we can load both right out of the same box. So let's load this Single Action Army up. So we're going to put one in, we're going to skip, put another in, and another, and another. So now we've got 5 rounds. We're going to cock that hammer all the way back and drop it on an empty cylinder. Okay, we'll go into that more. We'll do a video on Single Action Armies. We'll probably do several, but that's a proper way to load a Single Action Army. Now these newer ones, this is a U-Birdie and it's got a safety system, but the originals didn't. So I load them the same all the time. That way, if I've got an original Colt Single Action Army, I'm not used to loading all 6 chambers, and it's safe to do on this, but just better to be safe than sorry. So let's see how we can do with this U-Birdie in 4440. I didn't see where that hit. There, we got it. So she was shooting to the left. Now that I'm aiming a little to the right, we're getting it. There we go. Then that's all of them. Well, what great fun. We've gone through almost an entire box of 4440 through this Deluxe pistol grip, half octagon Colt Lightning rifle, and a Single Action Army. You know, doesn't get much better than that. What a blast. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Glad you could come along. Until next time, happy trails from the Cinnabar.